FEMA's Public Assistance Grant Program is part of the response and recovery sector of emergency management. The program works to aid state, tribal, and local governments following the declaration of a major disaster by the President of the United States. Grants are also given to a portion of selected private sectors, such as nonprofit organizations. The grant program helps major disaster victims and their communities recover as quickly as possible. These grants are dispersed for recovery efforts, including debris removal, emergency protective measures, and the restoration of public facilities in some private nonprofit organizations that have been damaged by whichever type of disaster that has occurred. During the recovery process, this public assistance program also takes measures of hazard mitigation to prevent future damages from occurring. FEMA's PA program is responsible for at least 75% of emergency management costs once eligibility for the program has been met. The typical grantee of the grant program is a state which has been affected by the disaster. Eligibility for the program depends on several different factors such as statutes, regulations, and policies, with the Stafford Act as its blueprint of authorization. Signed in 1988, the Stafford Act establishes the legal power for many disaster relief efforts and, most importantly, FEMA programs. The Stafford Act set the tone for many future written policies pertaining to disaster relief and recovery efforts. These policies provide an explanation for many concerns of emergency management relief efforts. A hierarchy of needs is provided to determine whether an applicant is eligible for public assistance funding. With the applicant acting as the base of the pyramid, he or she must be eligible for the facility to be eligible, which must be eligible for the work to be eligible, and finally, the work must be eligible for the cost to be eligible. If each of these four requirements are met, the applicant is eligible for the PA program. Following a disaster that leaves substantial damages to the communities of the affected area, a state must coordinate with FEMA through a series of steps before being granted. A prime example of the implementation of FEMA's PA program can be shown through the recovery efforts after Hurricane Sandy devastated New York, leaving the state in shambles. New York has been granted $2.1 billion thus far and accounts for the single greatest PA project this country has ever seen. A single grant alone accounted for $402 million of those dollars. Major drinking water facilities, treatment plants, and sewers were in need of serious repair. The money was also utilized to aid in evacuations, search and rescue, debris removal, and repairs to numerous types of publicly owned facilities. Through the assistance of the grant program, many victims were able to remain in their homes as repairs were being made. FEMA's Public Assistance Grant Program is a significant factor in the response and recovery efforts of emergency management. While there are many factors that go into response efforts, the amount of money made available through this program has helped to make tremendous progress in returning communities to their initial state before enduring a disaster. Through local, state, tribal, and nonprofit public assistance efforts, FEMA has played a huge role in returning victims and their communities back to normal.